All right, guys, welcome into Andrew's the podcast. We are launching a new show tonight, new podcast, very important podcast, I might add. Um, the name of the podcast is called I Can Conversations, and this podcast is going to be hosted by a gentleman who is doing some great work in the community, Georgetown County community. I did my research on him. Come to find out, we've been I know him through some people. Well, we know the same people. Also, um, this brother has definitely been putting in the work on, and from wherever he's been. When he decided to start working with children, that's what he committed himself to doing. And you know how they say reputation precedes you, and in this case, it's no different. So I want to welcome you all in. Please go ahead and hit the like button. Again, this is going to be every Thursday night at 7 o'clock. Now, here's the beautiful thing about this. A lot of times you won't see this beautiful face or hear this beautiful voice right here. Uh, because this is not about me. It's about spreading the word of positivity to as many people as possible. I struggle with the idea of wanting to save everybody, but here's somebody that's tonight that you guys I want you to ask questions because that's what I'm gonna do. We're gonna get to know Mr. Eric Morton today. Get to know him, about his organization, and I just want y'all to show some love as we do this. Again, this is welcome to the I Can Conversation podcast, and again, it's around the organization founded by Mr. Eric Morton. All right, and let's go ahead and bring him up right now. All right, Mr. Morton, how are you? And welcome to your show, my man.
Thank you. I appreciate it, man, for the platform. I can conversation is more about moving, finding the kids and building it around mentoring young minds and trying to find growth, guidance, and strategy, accountability, and helping our youth and families and communities see what's possible as far as trying to find out answers and results without seeing it and reacting to it after things happen. We try to find ways so we can actually get in front of some of these issues that we can see early in the early part.
No doubt. So, all right, let's let's get to know who Mr. Morton is. Tell us about yourself. And I know you like Mr. Brian Gary. Most people like you guys that out here, y'all don't like to talk about yourselves.
I don't.
All right. And so, but tonight, now this is the intro show right here. This is we want to introduce people to you, man, and so they can have a real good feel of you, like I got a good feel of you. Um, so tell us about Eric Morton. Where you from, where you raised up at. I know you're from Charleston, so that's a given. But
Yes,
but
sir.
yeah, tell everybody that doesn't know Coach E. Let's break that down for them.
I'm from Charleston, South Carolina. I was raised in the downtown area back in the day when crack cocaine was really on the rise and rap music was at its peak and people was just living. I attended Burke High School, which is in Charleston, South Carolina. Played basketball, football, and I was a community sports person. Um, After high school, I went to Clinton Junior College in Rock Hill, where I
Mm-hmm.
got an associate's in business, and I played basketball. From there, I graduated and went to Claflin University in Orangeburg, where I obtained a bachelor's in physical education. And after that, I went to Webster University, where I obtained a master's in mental health counseling. But in between those years, I made some mistakes, and I ended up going away for a little while, forgetting and doing some things that I had no business doing. Um, pretty much I'm a I'm a basketball fanatic. I like sports. I'm transparent. I've seen a lot. I've also been in the military. So I have a diverse background when it comes to dealing with social and emotional and mental health, as well as physical abilities.
No doubt. Where were you when you made that decision that I want to take my energy and put it in to the youth? Where were you at in your life? Like what was going on when that decision came to you?
To start this program.
Yeah, to no, I mean just in general, like when you made that sidetrack, you went away, and then what was that path back?
Um, it was probably in 1999. I was granted parole in order to leave from being incarcerated. I was in prison for about 4.5 years. So
Mhm.
on my way out, I had to start making key decisions whether I'm going to be a better drug dealer or crime person, or I could change my life. So what I did was I prayed. I prayed for something to show me that it's not all about me. That I can't be selfish no more. So they gave me a son. So my son in 2001 was born, and he looked like me. He act like me. He looked just like me. So that was a constant reminder every day that my younger self needed a chance. So by my younger self needing a chance, they're kids. So by playing basketball and playing sports, I come into a lot of kids that actually I mirrored their life. So I wanted to share, if I could share my story and share my experiences, that'll leave kids the options not to go out and experiment or go out and try to do things and get in trouble and then try to get their way out. So what led me out was not being selfish for me, but being selfish so I can give to other people.
No doubt. And so, when did you start the I Can Mentoring LLC? Because I was listening to your background. Is your family into like? Did you come from a family of like mental health workers? Um, what led you into the mental sciences?
I think what led me into counseling, because originally when I graduated from Claflin, I just wanted to get my master's in community health so
Mhm.
I could understand. Community health is understanding like the diagnoses, the kind of medication that they use in the communities. Well, the communities don't know what these terms mean. They don't know what this medication mean. So I just
Mhm.
wanted to be able to go in the community and let them know this is a good medication or this diagnosis is not good. But what happened was they canceled the community health program at Webster. So I either had to do marriage and family or mental health.
Mm.
So I decided with mental health because I'm a coach. And
Yes,
I know a
yes.
lot of kids have mental blocks and they have mental issues other than kids that don't play no sports. So I said, well, let me combine the two. And as I got into it in 2014, I've been doing this since. So I look at it as a balance for me, where I
Mm.
combine my experience, my education, and my
Yeah,
knowledge all in one.
no doubt. Because that's the thing about the mental health side of it is that there are tools and things that you can pick up that like conflict resolution, different things like that. We'll get into that kind of thing later. But and so you you started the ICANN Foundation, and again, what year did you start this foundation?
Actually, I started it in 2026.
Okay, so boom, we fresh here, we here.
We fresh, yes. Because I was working in mental health and then I had back surgery and I left with mental health, but I wanted to stay involved. So
Mhm.
I decided that was my opportunity to start something that could be lasting and be able to be a resource for a lot of kids.
And I mean, and I'm asking you based on the experience of the kids that you've come across. What would you say? not one thing, but what are some of the issues that when you come across these kids that you see that they're struggling with?
I see a lot of abandonment, um, mental abuse. A lot of people would think it would be physical, but it's actually the mental abuse. I come across kids that like to experiment because they can't fit in. I come across kids that want to be good athletes and that family a good athlete, but they're not that good, so they go through anxiety and depression. So dealing with kids of all kind of diagnoses and backgrounds helps me to help them. I, the short stay.
Yeah, I can and because that thing with the verbal abuse, I think that's one of the things that's overlooked, as in, I'm just kind of because there's a difference between chastising a child and then going to the
Yes,
point of mentally abusing the child.
yes,
And
yes.
so
And
what are I mean, if what are some techniques that, okay, that if a parent finds themselves, because I deal with that, I deal with um trying to figure out what are my triggers, like, so that, what I mean, I don't blow up and say, what I mean, go to with the tongue, what I mean, because you could be that's a thing.
yes,
Because for me, the big thing is I've you know just with my daughter or whatever, it's very important that she gets off to school in a right mental place. You know what I mean? Not processing something I said to her or something her mama said to her while she's supposed to be, what I mean, doing math.
hmm So one technique or skill that you can learn is that we as parents we must find out that these kids are going to go through something, but the approach is not the same. So therefore, you would have to use, like we talked earlier about, having a back door, because sometimes we as the parents can be the trigger before they go to school. So
Hmm.
we as parents need to just say, okay, I want to teach them my way, but I have to learn how to present it to them in their way so they can
Hmm.
understand it and not feel that, oh, he's just yelling and fussing at me, but he's actually trying to show me something. So a skill is used is just allowing them the space to actually be open to you, because we as parents sometimes we're not as open as we think with our kids. Is either do
Hmm.
what I say, or you're going to do it this way, or just leave it alone. Sometimes the kids give you the breadcrumbs to show you exactly how to approach them.
Hmm. And we were talking about that, some of the ways to communicate with these kids, and one of the things that we were talking about was the music,
hmm
because I know I be tripping my daughter them out, my son them out, because I'll pop on some Public Enemy and I'm word for word. You feel what I'm saying?
Yes,
Um,
sir.
and so from that, I have to acknowledge the fact of how influential that music was on me.
hmm
And so
Yes.
ta- we were talking the other day, and you were saying that we was come to find out we listened to a bunch of the stuff that what the quote unquote young people listen to, and
Yes.
we basically came to the same agreement as to why we listen. And you were saying about those those back doors to the child. Talk about that a little bit more.
All right. Sometimes when we as parents or adults, we try to force what we want the kids to learn, or we try to make them sit there and do it. For example, you're going to do it my way, or there's no way. So what we do is try to find a back door, and the back door could be music. Because if you listen to their music tells you how they're feeling. Their
Mhm.
music tells you where they're at in their life today. They're telling you what they've been thinking for the last 2 or 3 weeks. But we as parents, some of us don't listen to the music. We don't allow it in our house, but we gather them at church and they have to sit there and listen to the gospel music. So we're forcing the gospel music on them to get them to change, but we don't meet them halfway to say, well, I'm gonna listen to your music. I'm not gonna condone it, but I'm gonna listen to it to give you that safe space and grace, so I can understand how to approach my child or any child.
Yeah. I found out that with my experience in the streets and this and that, by me listening to the music, I'm able to interpret it to them as separate the real from the what I mean from the fantasy. And so
Yes.
I use that. I definitely use that tool to communicate with a lot of young people because that's where they at. That's where we were.
That's where we were when we were younger. And we had bridge builders back then. So I think we got away from being a bridge builder. But a lot of time when we talk about being a bridge builder, we think about it as a one-way street. But you have to be a two-way bridge builder. I have to go over there and listen to your music. Now here's a chance to come over here and listen to my music.
Mhm.
And then we can meet. Then that'll help me go back to what you said earlier, help me to identify what's going on with my child. Because my child will now start opening up because they say, oh, my daddy listening to my music. Okay, I can talk to him because he understands. Because most child look at us as old people. We don't
Yeah,
understand.
and the other part of that is that I think my kids stopped liking the music because I was liking it because I guess they realized well it can't be that cool if
Oh yeah. If
if
I
he
just say
rocking
we
it.
listen, yeah, yeah. So the kids, but they'll stop and they'll pay attention. I use back
Absolutely.
doors like music. I use sports. I
Mhm.
use sneakers. I use anything other than the normal when we try to get the kids to try to change our behavior because that would helps them to open up and feel more comfortable to me.
Yep, no
Oh,
doubt.
man, that's my guy right there. I saw one of my players came in,
Hey
Jamie
man,
Graham.
listen, man. I again, I've been I've been doing. I didn't have to do a lot of research because once we realized, what I mean, uh, Quan, I was like, oh man, I knew I seen this
Look,
guy right here, man. But
look, man. Let me tell you something. That guy right there, that's my guy right there. Now I ain't gonna tell no boy no, and that's me and my wife. My if you mention that to my wife would tell you that's her. That's one of her favorite persons at Claflin. So
hey,
I'm
man,
glad.
that's why Claflin is the only. Well, I ain't gonna say, but I would definitely steer my child toward Claflin
Claflin.
University
Yes, sir.
because of there's a family aspect to Claflin that you know I just don't see with the other school. I ain't gonna say the name, because I got somebody that went to school there and think. All right, so my thing is glitching on me a little bit. Let me make this adjustment that I talked about earlier here. Hold on, so
Okay.
which is probably gonna make this thing a little bit more grainy. But hey guys, listen, if you are interested in if you're in the Georgetown County area, what all areas does your program serve?
Anywhere I can get to,
Okay.
I'll meet you wherever you at.
And so here you go, guys. Here's the number right here. This is how you can reach Coach E. Okay. And again, this is the I Can conversation. So this thing is gonna grow over time. I first of all, man, I thank you for taking the time to do this. Also, guys, you can reach out to Coach E. There's his email address right here. Let me make this change here while I got this thing working. My camera's gonna go kind of crazy here, but all right, there we go. But yeah, so there you go, guys. And also we got to do better in our communities by supporting our nonprofit organizations. These things cost money. I know with coaching, I was having a conversation with you earlier today about the facility that the program. That's matter of fact, this is where that hat's from, where my daughter's getting the softball training at because I'm not a softball coach. I don't know. I could just yell, you know what I mean? And now I can motivate a child. Oh man, listen, you need that guy, that mental aspect guy on the end of the bench to okay,
Yeah.
you need me to dig that. I'll find out whose aunt just came in town was sitting in the stands. Hey, coach, you need to get him in there. Because I believe he got a little something for us tonight. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Exactly.
but like how you and Pope, like Pope is at camp right now. I talked to him earlier. He's supposed to pop in, but teaching the this and to come through, and I'm just one of them kids. Just give me the ball, I can play. All that
Yeah.
coaching stuff.
I love it. I love coaching. Love coaching and teaching.
No doubt. And why? What? I know the basketball is just one thing, but talk about how because it can't be hard work when you're doing something you love. That's a true thing. That's a true statement.
That's the truth. That's true.
So did you when you were bouncing that ball in Burke, did you think that ball was going to lead you to the places that it led you to?
Well, I actually thought basketball was going to take me either to the NBA or cross seas.
Mm.
But when I went to Clinton Junior College, I was a junior college, small junior college All American. So I had a good 2 years in junior college. So I said, well, let me go to Claflin and try to see if I can go on. But what changed my life was I blew my knee my first year there. So once I blew my knee, my mental went one way because my mind was focused just on basketball. And for that to be taken away from me, it caused me to get into other things that led me to being incarcerated and getting shot and getting put in jail multiple times. So going to Claflin, but when I came back to Claflin after I got out, because I said my job wasn't finished, so I wanted to graduate. So when I got out, I got a pardon in 2001 from the governor, and I went back to Claflin in 2000 and graduated. So my road in has been as easy, but I'm glad the road that I take because
where does that motivation come from? Because you, at what I'm hearing, bro, you had a lot of times to take the off ramp and just pack it up. You feel what I'm saying? What is that? Mama? Is that grandma, granddaddy? That where did that come from?
I think it came from a multiple of things. It's like I think one of the things that really caused me to change while I was in there is that after visits with me and my mom, when she leaves, she would start crying because I couldn't leave. So I said to myself, I couldn't keep carrying her through that. So what I did was I stopped all her visits until I got out. And then once I got out, I promised myself I had to do better and put something else in front of me that would actually keep me away from those things. So I went back to what I know best, which is basketball, because that's a universal language for me.
Absolutely.
And it opened up doors where I could help kids. And as a result, the mental health, the social life, the life skills, the academics, all that started coming together. And I guess I was just a stop sign, and that's all I want to be now is a stop sign to show kids that you don't have to go past this limit to understand that it's not for you.
Mm-hmm.
So I use a lot of metaphors and things like that. So
what could, and we're talking to parents now, right? You being a athlete, I mean, an athlete, former athlete, you being a coach, and me just being around Quan, hearing just being that close to it, where sometimes you'll get parents that get in the way. So what is for you? I'll ask you this here. What was that experience? I don't want you to, what was that experience that you remember so far in your coaching where that parent just kind of lets you do you and you was able to get the most out of the kids? What I'm asking is, how can parents help their kids by getting out of the way? Maybe I just answered that in the same time.
By understanding them and meeting them where they at. One of the main questions I ask some kids to ask their parents when they go home is, how do you see me when you talk to me? See, because sometimes a parent, you could be 18 or 19 years old, and a parent gonna look at you and say, I look at you as my baby.
Yes.
So therefore, I'm talking to you like you're a baby.
Subconsciously, and bro, that's a great question, and I bet I can imagine some of the responses that, and it's probably a a breakthrough moment for a
Mhm.
parent to be able to sit back
Yes.
and say, hold on.
If
Yeah.
they allow it,
If
if
they
they
allow
allow
it.
it, if they're open to, if you ask the question, I want to help change, and then you have to be successful to what a child tell you. Because when they ask that question, how do you see me? That's how they're going to respond. But for me, I meet them where they're at. So if they're 18, yes, they're still my child, but he's 18. And that's what they be trying to show. See, in the streets or at school, they are telling an adult, don't talk to me like that. I ain't no child. But they're not going to say that to their parents
Uh,
because
uh-huh.
that's my parent. But they want their parents to understand, just like everybody in the street, that I'm 18. I'm not that little 10-year-old that you used to talk to like that. So that you back then you used to curse and yell at them. At 18, 19, they might not be into that yelling and fussing
Might
at
not
them.
be that receptive to it. And so that leads into what last week, man. I just want to shout you guys out for what you're doing and continue to do with the program director down at the YMCA in Andrews, Mr. Brian Gary, with the Rising Gents program, because it's another conversation that we had off camera about, because that's what I wanted to know, and you're right on it. Where what happens if that boy doesn't get to Rising Gents or get any of that influence, and then, like you said, he moves from that 10-year-old boy and now he's 16, and he has no direction.
Mhm.
Okay, that's the for me, that's the key of the program. That's the point of the program. Again, you're not going to save everybody, but you're providing direction. So
Yes.
for you, when a kid, what I don't, help me out, man. Talk about that. What happens during that time? Where do we lose these young boys from that 10-year-old boy, and now we got him? He on demon time now.
For example, let's go back to things like reading the breadcrumbs. Um, Throughout the time before they got to that point where you lost them, they were giving you the signs. They were feeding you the breadcrumbs.
Mm-hmm.
But as adults, we don't pay attention to the breadcrumbs from our kids because we feel that we got them in a structured environment. I give them a roof over their head. I provide them with their necessities, but I didn't watch them grow because I gave everything else. So, like, let's take the music. If I was paying attention to some of the music, then I could understand some of
Mm,
their feelings. If I
mm,
look at them draw and look at their artwork, I can tell how they're feeling that day through the artwork. So we if we're listening for verbal cues, you might never see no verbal cue. So we have to use how how do you call it, unconventional ways
mm-hmm.
to understand the child.
You got to
So
pay
again,
attention to your child. You got to pay
gotta
close
pay
attention.
attention. And you gotta be nosy. You gotta ask the
Yes.
question. Sometimes a lot of time I ask people in general, a person can walk up to you and lie. A person can text you and lie. But what's the only thing that never lies if you ask the right question? Body language.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're a parent, you're not listening to the words. Ask your question and read their body language. And
Mm-hmm.
that'll help you calm down. Another thing is learning the generation. This is Gen Z.
Yes.
At the end of the day, parents, you are human. Your situation is across the board now. It might be more severe here and there, but basically Gen Z is Gen Z. And if we understand the generation and not our generation, then we start to meet them halfway. Because I grew up in the era where you said yes, ma'am, no,
Yep.
ma'am. This era don't do it,
Oh, we are
but
the
we
that
force them though.
we're that generation that had that key around the neck.
Yes.
We figured out, we came home. We were that generation. You could tell, go in that house, don't come out, whatever. We get home and we've made it happen. And so you're right. So understanding generational differences is a big part of understanding your child. And
Yes.
because the cultural influences for your child is not the same as for you and me.
It's not. It's not. It's not. They'll look at it. They might try to emulate some of it, but it ain't the same because at the end of the day, if you're not transparent with Gen Z gonna make you feel like they're disrespectful because they ask questions. They have their own opinions and things like
Very
that. And
much.
we as parents, we never had that as we were little. We just did what we were told to do with no complaints. Today, you're not going to do that. You're not going to
No.
do that to Gen Z. They are going to question it before they make any decision, any movement. So now, do I get upset trying to force my ways and values on them, or do I try to understand them and tweak it to whereas I can put a little bit about my past into them so they can keep going.
Mm-hmm.
That's what because a lot of time parents come to me and they are already given up, they don't know what to do, or they lost them. But they got to be willing to reinvent themselves as well. Because once a child see that you've given up, they won. Basically, that's what they did to you. They wore you out, and you allowed them to do anything. So now you want me to come in there and try to recalibrate them, which I do a very good job at recalibrating. But it's a team effort. Now we have to do it in phases. It has to be me, the coach. It has to be the parent. It has to be the facility that they go to every day.
No doubt. Guys, we are here right now again with the founder of ICANN Mentoring, Mr. Eric Morton. We're going to be doing this every Thursday night right here on Andrews the Podcast. If you're interested in reaching out to Coach E, there he is right there, 843-712-4636. Or you can reach him via email, and that is icanmentoring24@gmail.com. And do what I'm going to do. I'm going to donate here in a second. So I'm asking everybody that's listening, donate. Okay. I'm be full disclosure, donate like $25. That's what I can afford to donate. You know what I mean? But every dollar counts. So y'all make sure y'all do that. Coach, let me ask you this right here. This is something that me and Pope talk about a lot. Managing a kid that is just talented. I mean, this kid walks in the gym, this kid's got it. You know what I mean? And so now you get the hanger-ons, the families, and this and that. This kid is just 12, but he's he looks like a star, and the NBA is so far away, but they treat this kid as if
He's the
how
next
do you
chosen one.
how do you manage first the parents of a child like that, and then the kids?
Well, with the parent, I try to find out how much knowledge of the game do they know. Because
Mm,
sometimes a lot of parents they just see clips of NIL making it to the league, 6'4", but they don't get into what it takes in order to gravitate to get to that point. So I try to get parents to be realistic. I try to get them to understand that the percentage of a kid going to the pro at 12 years old is like 3 or 4% or less. So, but
absolutely.
there's nothing wrong with chasing that dream, though.
Yes.
That's why I tell them you still can chase the dream, but have a plan B in case that dream doesn't come into fruition. As for
Absolutely.
myself, I had everything into being basketball, but when I blew my knee, I had to have an option B. So I said, well, let me stick it out and get my degree. So I joined a fraternity. I joined Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, and I think that helped balance my depression and my anxiety from not playing sports.
Mm.
So I was able to be a part of something, but not what I really truly wanted to be a part of. But it turned out my second option wasn't bad at all because it allowed
So
me to grow into the person I am.
so the mental health path, because when you said that, now I consider that to be a good athlete and basically have those eggs in that basket. The mental health training was more so for yourself than, you know what I mean. You
Yes.
you benefited from that also, and because that's something that I guess nobody talks about what you went through. You know, once your knee blew out.
Well, I I really, me personally, at that time, I didn't have anyone. One, I didn't have no one that I could go to. Two, it was a taboo. It's a
Mm,
taboo. You don't go to mental health. Be
yeah,
strong.
exactly,
Suck it
exactly.
up. You'll get over it. It's just a day. Next week you won't be feeling like this here, but it'll still be there. So when I tell people when you get to that point there, it's not a matter of if you're gonna feel like that, it's a matter of when. So
Hmm.
when you feel like that, what kind of coping skills
Do
you
you have?
have, what kind of support team you have around you in order to help bring you out of them places. See, for
Hmm.
me, when I got sunken in and started, Omega Psi 5 pulled me out. They kept me
Gotcha.
balanced, they kept me above water. So for parents, we just have to ask for help for one, stop treating it like a taboo or curse, and accept that everybody deals with something, even your own child.
Hmm.
And I think it's more prevalent in the rural areas than in the city areas.
No doubt. I, I
So
I was I was just telling people, man, I come from people who, and again, I love it because it gave me a certain level of toughness that I needed to face the world. But I came from some people that, if you went home and like, hey mama, they called me black at school today.
mhm.
My mama say, well, ain't you black?
Yeah, yeah. Not
You know
knowing
what I
how it
mean?
affects you. Yeah, yeah.
And not, yeah, exactly, not and that's, yeah, it's a lot, bro. That's why this podcast is going to do really, really good, man. So tell me, what would you like to accomplish with this podcast right here?
I would like to accomplish the point where as we all become familiar of our surroundings and our kids, because not my child can't be around me every day. So if I help another adult, faculty, teacher, or coach understand what they're dealing with in their community, then our kids will feel safer when they go into places that no one really knows them, but they know of the parent. So, like in Georgetown. So, for me, I want them to just grow and know that I'm a stop sign, and my program is a stop sign. It stops here. We're not going to allow you to get into the point where we figure it out after you get into trouble or after you have an episode.
Hmm.
We want to get it in preventive stages where we prevent these things. So we got to arm the parents, teachers, and coaches with the necessary tools to see these things before it comes. Because a lot of time we react instead of before it happens. We always react after. So, but if we show the proper action plans in the beginning, so a lot of this stuff we won't be reactive. Let's be real. It can happen here too. I think a lot of time we say, "Oh, it ain't gonna happen here in Georgetown." Well, it can happen here too. So we need to be prepared. So I have a saying: you rather have and not need than to need and not have.
Hmm. So, and listen, if there's a parent that's out there, you know what I mean, and I'm sure you can reach out right here at this number right here just to talk to Coach
Yes,
E.
sir.
You don't have to sign your kid up for basketball. You may just want to talk about some coping mechanisms, or different things like that. His number's right here. Definitely make sure you follow this podcast. We're gonna build this thing out. Gonna have different guests on, because again, this is important. I reached out to Mr. Gary, but he didn't. I didn't. I think I sent it late. I sent the invitation late. But man, we again. So, Coach, we're not gonna overdo it today. But tell us kind of what next week. What are we looking for? What are we looking for next week? What should people be looking forward to next week?
Well, next week when we come on the program, we're going to start talking about the things that affect the community. from youth empowerment to mental health to family relationships to fatherhood and mentorships, life skills. So next week we're going to start putting it out there. Whereas if you have a question, comments, or concerns about a child, your community, or your household, we'll be here to address it and try to put you in the right place or put you in front of the right people with the right resources, so you can get some answers.
Absolutely, right here, guys. And again, you can find Coach right there through his email. Um, and hold on a second here. Let me go ahead and do this right now. And I want to do this every Thursday. I'm gonna throw something in the pot because I've been talking a lot. You feel what I'm saying? And now I got to start really donating to these things that I talk about. You feel what I'm saying? I don't have a lot, but what I have, I'm gonna share. And so let's see. Let's get this over here to you right now. Two. All right. And I'm gonna screenshot this and put this up to show you all. And I'm challenging all the viewers to let's donate because these programs don't fund themselves. Coach can tell you. I know basketball. It's an expensive thing, and it's
Yes.
getting more and more expensive. The travel, so sending your kid. I understand you want to save your kid, and I want to save your kid too. But try to do something. You know what I mean? And if you and I understand everybody's not in a position, and that's all. But for your child, you need to sacrifice. You know what I mean? If that means, hey, you're gonna drink one less beer, you know what I mean, this week, or whatever it means, but you need to find a way to support your children, and that's gonna be through money. You know what I mean? When you send your kids off to these programs or get them involved in these programs. Um, Coach, let's talk about it. Like, what ways could money help your program? Donations.
Well, it helps. One, it helps to get supplies in order to give out resources. It helps for with the gas to get to the places so I can tell you about it. It helps with probably helping a child in a program. So sometimes I help kids with entry fees to registration for gyms. So it just helps in a multiple ways. Any way to help service a kid, it will be doing. That's what it'll be used for.
Absolutely. So, let's second. H E J M. All right. Boom. Hey, and listen, if you got a business and you wanna be a sponsor on this program on Thursday night, this is a great show to get behind. I'm gonna send out some emails to some different uh, different businesses that I've reached out to sponsor this program, and all the proceeds will go to the foundation. Okay, um, and that's how we're gonna do that. All right, so there's Cash App again, guys. Let me send. All right, I can FOUNDTI. All right, boom. I'll let y'all see it as it goes through right there. It's
I
turning, it's
appreciate it.
turning. Boom, there it is right there. All right, guys, I sent that. That's that $25 challenge right there. I asked
Thank
that y'all send that out every week. We're gonna be doing this because none of these things run off of like how marriages run off of love. You know how that go. You don't need no money for a marriage.
Not at all. Not at all. Not at all.
Out of marriage, we need money over here. All right. So, Coach, man, go ahead. Final thoughts. And listen, everybody, don't inbox me. I got some lights for Coach. I'm gonna set them up. I'm gonna set up his camera and everything. All right. So y'all just make sure y'all tune in and hit the dang on like button. Okay. If you don't donate, at least hit the like button. Bring more people to this information. Don't be selfish. If you're getting some value out of it, please hit the like button. All right, Coach. Yeah, go ahead, man. Final thoughts.
My final thoughts. I need you to join our conversation every Thursday night. We're gonna have some great topics ahead, and if you have any topics that you feel that needs to be addressed or need some insight on, please send. Look at the email, send it to my email, or just call me, and we'll put it on a program. Let's see you next week Thursday, and let's remember that learning that because every young person deserves someone who believes in them. I believe in them, and I know you can. So thank you for coming on the show.
There it is right there. I Can Conversations first show. You know what I mean? And listen, the first official affiliate program on Air Just the podcast. Well, we a network now.
Yes, sir. I
So
appreciate the platform.
man, I listen. I thank God that I'm able to do it. You know what I mean? And so, we were supposed to get at it earlier, but everything has its timing. And so,
It's
man,
all
I
right.
look forward to this, guys. Next Thursday, every Thursday, tune in. We do on Tuesday night, Real Talk Tuesday. If you got a show idea and you want to fill some space, let's go. We got some more days. Let's make this thing. Let's make this thing real. I Can Conversations, guy. Y'all have a great week.
Have a good one, y'all.